views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Everyone, welcome to Angel Healing House Radio. My name is Candy Hough. Through my business, Angel Healing House, which can be found at angelhealinghouse.com. I'm a writer and an author, an international radio host, a Reiki master teacher, and an angel practitioner. My inspirational books entitled Angels of Faith and One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, and my autobiography, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, are based on my recollections of our life in spirit, and they help us to remember our divine, eternal natures. Through Angel Healing House, I help people to let go of sadness, anger, bitterness, resentment, and regret that has kept them locked in the prison of the past, and I help them to let go of worry, stress, and control, which has kept them focused on an imagined future. And once they are no longer living in the past or the future, they can start to live in the present moment, which is the only place that they can experience synchronicities, miracles, and magic. As an angel practitioner, I help people to see their lives from a higher perspective with the help of an extraordinary group of angels who call themselves the Posse of Angels. Just like my angelic family, the Posse of Angels, I'm very excited to take some of your calls for that free angel advice. You can call into the show on 1-800-930-2819. But before we get to those callers, welcome everyone. And to those who are celebrating this week, happy Passover and also happy Easter. It is a huge week of celebrations for many, and it's also a huge week energetically as we are experiencing a rare pink moon in Libra. Now, what does that mean? The April pink moon is called by this color because of the beautiful blankets of phlox flowers that carpet the ground at this time of year. Besides the color, many people will emotionally feel in the pink, as they will feel a heightened sense of energy and feel like champing at the bit to find a way to channel it. Even though we may not know what the next step for us is, if we can welcome this energy shift with a positive attitude, open to receiving new beginnings and opportunities, then positive things will follow. And the pink moon brings a blessing of increased intuition, so please don't ignore those gut feelings and look out for those signs and synchronicities. And most of all, like all full moons, they bring rebirth and new beginnings. If there has been something that you've wanted to do, you have felt inspired to do, now is a great time for that. And we will have the heightened energy to commit to it as well. So really do have fun working with this heightened energy of this pink moon. Now, as I mentioned in my last show, that with the April 15th date of April 15th date of tax time, which is looming on the horizon, the theme for April is abundance. And the Posse of Angels have entitled today's show, You Are Wealthy, You Are Rich, and You Are Prosperous. And with wealth being the theme of the show, the Posse of Angels is asking how many of us fail to see the riches in the gifts that we have been given and the wealth and the abundance of our lives. Now, I want to start with this poem that was written by my wonderful father, and his name is Leonard Milgram, and it expresses just this thought. And it goes like this. If diamonds were as plentiful as grass, as plentiful as pebbles on the beach, we wouldn't see them as we pass. They hardly would be worth a reach. We seem to value only what is rare, the plentiful, hardly worth a glance. We take for granted water, food, and air as we race around the day like busy ants. Much of those on earth are not so blessed. Fetid air, scarcer water, scarcer food. Spoiled are we a thriving in the West, strangers to all simple gratitude. Rising, are we thankful for our health, for our shelter, for the comforts we enjoy? Or blinded by a hunger for more wealth, do we miss the very essence of our joy? Those who bow in gratitude and prayer for the endless gifts of God, both small and great, know that life itself's a gift beyond compare, a priceless gem we should appreciate. So thanks very much, Dad, for those beautiful inspirational words. This week's show was, for the most part, inspired by a former client of mine who came to see me because she was, as she explained, her whole life had become unexciting and dull as her days all seemed to roll into one another, and she wished to receive messages specifically about her career. I said that it felt like her energetic tank was empty and there was no joy or fulfillment or passion in her life. I explained that in order to change our reality, it was necessary to change our energies within. And even though we may not feel particularly joyful with our current situation in life, what is fundamental to changing anything is to create a different frequency around it. Since we are all mirrors for our realities, her lackluster and boring life was reflecting the lackluster and boredom that was within her. To start to raise our frequencies, it's important to focus on being grateful and appreciative for our blessings, and grateful and appreciative for the way things are in the present moment. The Posse of Angels is reminding us that by being grateful for exactly what we have, the universe then recognizes and identifies this energy as open, abundant, and receiving, and then it will send us more abundant blessings in line with our intentions and our heartfelt wishes. In fact, the universe is always giving to us because we live in an abundant universe. It is we who choose to close ourselves off by focusing on lack and all the things that we do not have, which then closes us down and causes resistance to receiving. Or we become so attached to a certain expectation that we should have had more money by now. We had to have had more money, or things should have worked out differently. So we become so attached to a certain expectation that we close ourselves off to receive in any other way. By practicing gratitude daily, we begin to feel more abundant, and the universe reads these energies as prosperous and wealthy, even though we have not added 1 cent to our bank accounts. You know, this concept of being prosperous and wealthy is quite foreign to many of us because we've been so programmed to get our worthiness and our identity from one thing and one thing only, and that is how much money we possess. Several years ago, I was asked to be a speaker at a financial seminar, It had a very cute name. It was called the Crazy Sexy Money Seminar. I presented an exercise to the audience, which I will share with you. I held up a $20 bill in front of the audience and I said, "Who would like this $20 bill?" Well, of course, all the hands went up in the audience. I then said, "Let me do something first." And I crumpled the money in my fist. And I then said, "Okay, now that I've crumpled it, who wants it?" And of course, all the hands still went up. I then said to the audience, "Oh, but hold on, wait, I will do one more thing." I then proceeded to step on the money and grind it into the ground. And then I said, "Now who still wants it?" And you know what, listeners? All the hands went up in the audience. I then pointed out that we just were shown a very valuable lesson. For no matter what I did to the money, the audience still wanted it because it did not decrease in value. It was still worth $20. You know, throughout our lives, the amount of money that we have, well, it goes up and it goes down. And when it's up, man, don't we feel great? Excuse me. But when it's down, many of us feel less than and worthless. But the truth is that no matter how many green units, because here in the States, all of the money is green, no matter how many green units or money that we have, we will never lose our value. This is because abundance is our nature. This means that it is our divine inheritance to be wealthy, rich, and prosperous. Through our free will, we can choose to feel less than, crumpled, stepped on, dirty, or worthless because we don't have enough of these green units in our bank account. Money, green units, or no money, we are priceless to the universe and those who love us. And our sense of self-worth and worth truly has nothing to do with how much money that we have. You know, it was at this financial seminar that I did another exercise with the audience. I said, "I'd like everyone to do something for me. Close your eyes. And listeners, you can do this as well. Close your eyes and I want you to visualize approximately the amount of money that you have right now in your bank account and focus on it." And after a few moments, I said, "Okay, everyone, put your hand up if you are wealthy and rich." And you can imagine very few people put their hands up. The point is here, if you equate the wealth of your life and the feeling of richness inside of you with what amounts of those green units or money that you have, you are sending out a very clear message to the universe that you are diminishing your unlimited potential to create abundance and limiting your sources of riches in your life. You are actually telling the universe to send your abundance in only one form, when in fact there is an infinite abundance that the universe is just aching to give to each one of us. Our jobs or our career is such a minute portion of the way to allow all kinds of abundance into our lives. For instance, by equating our wealth with how much money we have in our bank accounts, it is as if someone would say to me, "There is a vast, limitless blue sky above me." Excuse me. Would I then look at the ceiling and say, "No, no, that's the limit. That's as far as it goes because that's as far as I can see in this moment," when I may just have to take a few steps to a window where I can see the vast blue sky, but I know that it's up there. Well, looking at your bank account the way it is right now and saying that that is the limit to your wealth would be the same as saying the ceiling was the limit to as far as you can see. How much money you have now has nothing to do with the wealth of who you are and your extraordinary, limitless capacity to be a magnet to amass more in your life. One of the greatest assets that we all have is that we share an infinite power within ourselves to create. And even those people who say that they are not creative are creating every single day with the energies of the words they choose to speak, the thoughts they choose to think, the chosen feelings and emotions in their hearts, and those things that they take action towards. And when we start to live a conscious life of awareness, knowing that we can actually choose our words, our feelings, our thoughts, and our actions, to be positive and optimistic and hopeful instead of negative and pessimistic, we then will begin to paint a more positive reality for ourselves. But again, most people look at life through the eyes of falling short. By choice, they will often see the glass as half empty instead of seeing it as half full. Each one of us is so powerful that by putting any of our emphasis on not having enough green units or money, it will keep our energies vibrating at the level of lack, of wanting, and of need. And because everything is energy and the universal laws of attraction clearly state that like attracts like, you will continue to attract more of what you focus on or one focuses on, which is more lack to yourself. Think of how much emphasis people actually put on these things: not having enough money, on not being in debt. They put a lot of emphasis on telling the universe that they can't afford to do something. And it may seem that once we have said or thought these things, that they just disappear into the ethers and they are forgotten. In fact, listeners, they do not disappear because they live on energetically. Now, to show you an example of what effects these negative and lack-filled vibrational statements are having on our life, I'd like to introduce to you the Bank of the Universe. Now, unlike other banks, the Bank of the Universe is always open, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, ad infinitum. And it accepts each energy that we choose to deposit with our every thought, everything we say, every feeling in our heart. So by saying, I don't have enough money, if only I wasn't in debt, I hate not having money, or I can't do the things I want because of my lack of money. When we say those things, we are depositing negative units in the bank. And the Bank of the Universe doesn't know rationale, it doesn't know logic, it doesn't know reason, it only knows negative and positive. So day in and day out, the Bank of the Universe amasses each deposit that we are choosing to put in with our words, our thoughts, and our feelings. And because the bank must pay us dividends on all that we've accumulated in our bank account, don't be surprised when you, for instance, drop the iron on your foot, when you have an altercation with someone, or maybe we experience road rage and we might be innocently sitting in traffic and someone rams us up the rear when we're seemingly doing nothing. When you become conscious of all of this, you can choose to switch those negative thoughts to positive and optimistic thoughts that have a higher vibration, such as saying, instead of saying, I don't have enough money, you can say, I'm abundant and I can have whatever I desire. That thing that perhaps you do not have the money for could come in very different ways. For example, it could be a gift that someone gives you, or you can barter your services, or you could win it. There are many, many ways, limitless ways that something could come across your path. I'm always financially secure, and I'm always provided for. Now, how do those words feel in comparison to I don't have enough money? One can say, I'm rich, because one can experience the richness of health, love, friendship, and once again, the universe. When we say we are rich, the universe doesn't know the difference between money and richness of feeling like we're rich. With these abundant thoughts, words, and feelings flowing into our bank account, the Bank of the Universe must bring us abundant connections, opportunities to match those abundant frequencies. And remember, the universe cannot tell the difference between reality and fantasy. So go on, listeners, visualize and feel yourself living in that palace in France's Loire Valley, if that's what you love. Feel the warm sun as you tan on the balcony of your oceanfront home, or ease yourself into your first class airline seat as you sip your cocktail while on the way to your next exotic location. And if you invest in your heart's longings, then the Bank of the Universe will pay you dividends with opportunities and connections to realize those desires. A great example of abundance came as a result when my husband and I lived in Santa Barbara. Now, many of you may know of Santa Barbara. It's called America's Riviera. It's in California, and it is a gorgeous place. Now, Santa Barbara has many beautiful theaters that host a wealth of talent. This was many years ago, and when we lived there, I started looking through magazines at the upcoming schedule of artists, and I longed to go to those theaters, even though funds at that time were very meager. Instead of putting any emphasis on not going, I decided to say out loud to the universe, I love getting dressed up and going to the theater with Pete. And I sat for a while and I visualized and I felt what that would feel like walking into the theater, handing over the tickets and walking in. Well, it didn't take me long because the next morning when my alarm went off, I awoke to the DJ on the classical radio station saying, call this number to win these tickets. As I was dialing the number, I knew that those tickets were mine. When I was announced as the winner, I found out that the tickets were to the beautiful Libero Theater and the world-renowned famous guitarists, the Romero family, who were performing. Now, deciding to perpetuate the overwhelming joy and excitement of going to the theater, I visualized getting dressed up and going out. And over the course of the next 6 months, I manifested a friend who gave us tickets, which he could not use, to this, and they were tickets to the symphony at the Granada Theater, and other friends bought us tickets to go to the Arlington Theater. And not once did I have to pay for tickets. Whatever you say to the universe, it will always say yes to it, and it will match the same vibrational energy which is inside of you. You know, everyone, the most extraordinary thing, regardless of how much money we all have, is that we are always on an equal playing field with each other in our ability to manifest abundance in our lives. This capacity for wealth is like a treasure, and it's hidden inside each of us. Yet most people keep looking outside of themselves in their bank accounts for their wealth. Each one of us has unlimited, untapped possibilities of wealth and abundance, and it's just waiting to see the light of day. And the Posse of Angels are reminding us that this wealth is contained in our passion, in our vision, in our creativity. It is contained in our excitement and our enthusiasm for life. And so many people, they've said this on previous radio programs, so many people stop their enthusiasm, their excitement, because they're trying to figure life out instead of experiencing life. You know, when we feel good inside, there's a wealth and a richness to our lives that make us feel fulfilled. Each one of us knows what we like and knows when we're compromising some aspect of our lives because we start to not feel good. If our heart truly knows what makes us happy, Why would anyone deny their excitement and go in an opposite direction to those feelings? I believe it happens because of three reasons. Many people go against their excitement because of money, because of ego, and listening to and following others. Please do remember that only one person in this universe knows you best, and that is you. Those people that follow the excitement in their hearts are more productive, more creative. They have more energy, enthusiasm, and passion for what they do. They just feel rich. This leads to a brighter, positive, optimistic outlook on life. With their energy soaring high, they do not feel compromised, but they feel expansive. And these expansive energies go out, and their frequencies bring back connections of equally high, positive, and excitable energies. They live in a cycle of feeling wealthy, and life reflects this wealth back to them with equal amounts of wealthy opportunities. Listeners, the funny thing about all of this is that it has very little to do with money, but it has to do with following the richness and excitement in your heart. So try following that gratitude, that richness and excitement, and see what magic, synchronicities, and wealth begin to open up in your life. You are listening to me, Claire Candy Hough, on Angel Healing House Radio, on its home of Transformation Talk Radio. And Angel Healing House Radio can be heard weekly, every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, we will be taking some of those phone calls for those free angel readings and those heaven-sent channeled messages. So see you soon. We'll be back in a minute.
Have you discovered the remarkable books at angelhealinghouse.com? Author Claire Candy Hough has channeled rare books of inspiration and insight.
Angels of Faith is an inspiring story of healing, comfort, and hope that reminds us that death is not to be feared, but embraced with joy.
One True Home, Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, takes readers on a roller coaster ride through Angel Ariel's 5 most important lives on Earth, as well as her experiences in the afterlife, and helps us remember our own journey across the veil.
And Claire Candy's autobiography, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, which details the 2003 soul exchange that took place when Claire Candy walked out of her body and Angel Ariel walked in, creating heaven on earth for herself and others.
To find out more about these wonderful books, visit angelhealinghouse.com today. To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Hough, angelic walk-in angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now, 831-277-3716, or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
You are back with me, Claire Candy Hough, on Angel Healing House Radio. Just a reminder that Angel Healing House Radio can be heard on Transformation Talk Radio every week on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. We are going to the phones now and taking some of those callers. Our first caller is Jay from North Carolina. Jay, you're on the phone with Angel Healing House Radio. How are you today, Jay?
I am excellent. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. And are you experiencing any of those high vibrational energies from that pink moon?
Definitely. I slept under it last night outside. It was beautiful.
Gorgeous. How gorgeous. And you're in North Carolina, so the weather must have been a little bit warmer for you there?
Yes. We're finally getting a nice break in the weather. It's been gorgeous.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So tell me about your wealth, about your riches.
You know what? After listening to your the whole conversation, I'm glad that I'm muted, because I was chuckling so hard some of the times, because, I mean, it just felt like I felt like I already got my message. and just excellent reminders, just simple things that, we forget about ourselves and about our value. And the whole bank account, I loved your whole analogy. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
And you got me feeling like a gazillionaire all of a sudden.
Oh, that's what. Can you send me that in a testimonial? I loved that. That just warms my heart. There's been so much. Those of us who are living a conscious life, certainly when I had my walk-in experience was 14 years ago. So I've certainly been living this conscious life for 14 years. But, so many of us in the last 14 plus years have grown up with all those books about the laws of attraction, and you are what you think, and ask and it's given, and all of those things. And what we failed to realize is that, if we didn't like the life that we lived, we were very powerful manifestors before that. And we just manifested what we did not want, so we put so much focus and attention on it. But then with the wealth, it coming down to the richness and the wealth of our lives, we, as my dad's poem, so eloquently put, we're so busy trying to manifest those things of material value to ourselves that we fail to see the wealth in those seemingly simple things, like waking up and be able to see things. That's a wealth of vision, a wealth of being able to breathe. Somebody with emphysema or asthma has a constant struggle with being able to breathe, and it's just extraordinary how much we do take for granted. And I love that the universe can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy. I just love that. They either know negative energy or positive energy. So yesterday was a gorgeous spring day here in Santa Monica, and I took a walk on Ocean Ave by the beach. And I always set my intention, show me the magic. And I'm very good in picking up signs. And as I was walking along for a while, I thought, it's like an ordinary morning, people interacting, mums with babies, older people, sitting by the beach. And I thought, the magic is in these seemingly simple things, the magic of the rebirth. And there was a babies and a toddlers group, and I saw it as the new being reborn. And then there were old people in walkers, which were sitting on the esplanade there in the sun. And then this is at the in their golden years, enjoying that peace and that quiet after a life lived long. And then the beautiful spring flowers, and all that was just, it was like a theater which I created for myself, seemingly insignificant, but it was very significant for me as I walked along. And I said, this is the magic. This is the magic, and it doesn't get any better than this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go to the comments. Yeah. And it feels so good to let go and surrender to expectation and attachment, because I know we've had previous conversations, and truly both of us were attached to expectations of how things should work out.
Sure.
What should have happened, and things worked out exactly the way they were meant to. And the more that we can bless that, the more we open up to receive different and various things from working out for us in unlimited ways. So any specific question, Jay?
Actually, no.
Okay.
I really don't.
Okay, so let's go to the cards and see what generally comes out for this real time of rebirth for so many of us. And while I'm shuffling the cards, the Posse of Angels want to just say a general comment. You know, there seemingly is so much derision and everything. If one looks at the news, I haven't looked at the news in forever, but we who are living this conscious life are now living in a totally different reality. We are living in fifth dimension. We take a casual glance occasionally at those things of the third dimension, and we bless it. But we do realize that we're living in a different reality, and we are able to manifest a very, very different energetic frequency and bring us a very different reality now. So that's just a reminder from the Posse of Angels for all of us to stay in that fifth dimension. Yep. Okay, let's go.
What a blessing.
Yeah, what a blessing, absolutely. And Jay, hasn't it been an extraordinary journey that we have all been on for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, me 14, and beyond that? And I don't think we give ourselves credit for where we are energetically now. We've done a really good job.
I can say it just the past 30 years, watching the transition, and when I really think about it, I try not to a lot, but I do now and then to mark the occasion, because just the past 30 years, this planet has gone through so much. It's crazy. It's amazing. Yeah. And it's just going to get even better.
It's going to get even better. And if any time we do let our hopes dip, and we lose hope, or we're feeling a bit despondent, please cast your eyes to the future generations, the generations of indigos, the generation of crystal children, the rainbow children. They can't see. They literally cannot see a difference in color. They don't put any emphasis on a difference in race. Their vibrational frequency is so high, and this is the future of the planet. So these children, and the incredible indigo children, they're actually indigo adults, because the bulk were born between 1976, 78, and 1995. That doesn't mean that there aren't indigos outside of those years, but those indigos that buck the system, that know when they're being lied to, that go against those authority figures in power, and they were born to call all to call on all those lies and things, and to really make a difference, to band together. And so if any time you lose your hope, look to those future generations, because they are remarkable. And I must give a shout out to us baby boomers, because when we were called, we were running off to Woodstock, and we were making love, not war, and banning the bomb, and all that stuff. So we had a big hand in all of this as well. So let's go to Jay's cards for today. The first card is the Emperor, and the Posse of Angels are saying they are so proud of you. They are, because the Emperor didn't get that way by being a king. And what they mean by that is a king is put into that place of authority, or that career, just because of a bloodline. The emperor gets to be an emperor because of his ability to be loved by the people because of his very respectful, truthful nature. And they're saying that this emperor is you. It's a 4 card. It's a card of foundation. It's a card of strength. It's a card of courage, a security within yourself. And this didn't happen overnight. So I guess they were bringing up beforehand about giving yourself credit. They want you to, on this pink full moon, is feel in the pink and take some time, Jay, to reflect on all that went before and where you are now. Oh my gosh, the next one. You have 2 cards in a row of masculine figures. Well, I guess it's the Justice card. So you have 2 major arcana cards, the Emperor and the Justice. Excuse me. And both of them are sitting on thrones. That's what they want me to impart to you. You know, a throne is a seat of power. It's a seat of authority with knowing who you are, authority with not compromising that. The Justice card is certainly the card of living your truth. And it also sometimes denotes signing contracts. So I don't know if you have any inner hopes, you know, for things to, for the universe to manifest opportunities and connections for new things in business or careers, but that certainly could be a something that's coming up for you well. But they want you to know that you are sitting in a very powerful seat at the moment. And the next card for you, yes, well, you have 3 majors. You have the Death card as well. And this is a new beginning. So this is a very, very powerful reading. And those things that I mentioned in the channel was that if there is something that you wish to do now, and action, you can ask the angels to send you a sign for that. But please go with your gut feelings and step forth, you know, with that strength and that courage and that power that you've built up over, you know, the last 10 plus years or whatever, because they're saying that you've earned it and you deserve it now, Jay. Isn't that lovely?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, oh, are those birds in the background?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm out in my backyard.
How lovely.
My wife's kind of, when I said I slept out under the moon, my wife's used to it by now, but I go through backpacking or camping withdrawal.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll set a tent up. I'll set a tent up out in the backyard.
That is wonderful. That is
sitting out here now in a hammock, and yes, there's tons of birds around.
All right. Well, the Posse of Angels are applauding you and for getting out in nature, and just have an absolutely glorious day, glorious time at this time of spring. You know, bursting out all over the place, and it's a very new reality for many of us. So thanks as always for calling in, Jay.
Thank you, and I will definitely email you the I guess maybe should I do it on Amazon?
Oh, you can
or on the radio.
Just to my email, which is Candy, Candy @angelhealinghouse.com. Those Amazon reviews are for my books, so you can always post a review for my books if you'd like as well.
Well, actually, I have one of your books too.
There you go.
I won it a couple years ago. I won it.
Oh,
yes.
That's right. I do remember that. So maybe it's time to do another contest. So wishing you beautiful spring weather, blue skies, lots of birds chirping, and for you to have a lovely day. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful messages. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Namaste.
Namaste. And what a beautiful treat. I love birds. I just, the angel in me just goes absolutely gaga. I have hummingbirds on my balcony, and all kinds of birds seem to uh, fly to me. So thank you, Jay, for those bird sounds, those bird chirpings. Okay, let's go to our next caller. Hi, Stephanie from New York. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Thank you. I know you don't have a lot of time.
That's okay.
Okay. So, and I wrote out my fever, which was a little scary for a few days, but that went away.
Oh, good.
And, yeah, so that was nice. And, yeah, so some good things have been happening lately, but I was curious if what the Angel Posse had to say just in general, like for an open reading or specifically maybe around abundance.
Well, I'm glad that the fever broke, and I'm glad that you're over the worst of it now. So
thank you.
Yeah.
I tried. It was scary when it was like day after day after day, but yeah, it broke. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you took the garlic.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And then I also got like a garlic and a couple other herbs oil for my ear because I had, I think, an ear infection. And like on Friday, I couldn't even get like Q-tip in there. But then after a day, that was fine. And I'm hoping I'm all right. So.
Oh yeah, the garlic in particular, that was that was a remedy that my mother and my father, because we were brought up holistically and organically, whenever we had a cold or anything, that would be one of the things that they would always give to us is the crushed garlic, and it's a wonderful antibacterial, and it's just it breaks up the mucus, and it's just a wonderful thing, and it improves the immune system. And there are so many ways that we can, and things that we can do from a holistic point of view that really help the body to remember how to heal itself. So let's go to the cards and see what comes out for our lovely Stephanie. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh! First card that's coming out for you is the Sun. Oh my gosh! You couldn't start with a better card. I mean, the Sun is a sunny disposition, the feeling of warmth and radiance, and a sunny health. The sun is shining on your health. The sun is shining on your career. The Posse of Angels are saying, don't forget about her naturopathic studies that she's doing. There are so many different areas, Stephanie, that you have. They're saying they're showing me like little ticks, like you've ticked all the boxes and you've covered all the bases, and now you're bringing that sunny disposition with you. You certainly have an abundant disposition now. You've grown so much over the past 2 years, and especially over the past year, in not expecting and having an attachment to your abundance only coming in one form, and to realize that to have abundance on the outside, you must feel fulfilled and have that abundance in the inside. And so you took those wonderful steps forward to study and to feel fulfilled. The cold was just some of those last vestiges of those maybe not so high vibrational frequencies making their way out. But you've worked with it so that they're really happy about that. The next card, actually, you got 2 majors so far. Jay got 3 major arcana cards. You've gotten 2. And funny about this, I don't usually read cards upside down. As some people say that cards upright are positive, cards, when they're upside down are negative. I don't see any cards in the deck particularly as negative. I think they all can bring, positive things to our lives. Yet I will make an exception for this one because it's the Hanged Man. And if the Hanged Man is, usually the Hanged Man means that your life is suspended. Means that there's it's a waiting period for you, and to know that the universe is answering your prayers, but it's not quite yet. It's not the right divine timing. But with the Hanged Man appearing upside down, it means that you're no longer in a state of suspension. It means that this pink moon is really working in your favor, because the pink moon gives us enthusiasm for starting something new, committing our time to it and making a commitment to it, and you really utilizing those heightened energies. So it's saying that you're no longer held back. I do believe what they're referring to there as well is the reason you're no longer held back is because you're not holding yourself back anymore from enjoying life, and before you were trying to figure life out, and life was never meant to be figured out. It truly was meant to be experienced. Oh, and the next card for you is the Queen of Wands. Now, she is the queen in the deck that is so focused on her career. She's focused on, encouraging and helping others with their careers, being of service to herself, being of service to others. She's holding a sunflower, which is a sign of abundance and wealth and richness, and so this is a really beautiful reading. You're no longer waiting; you're experiencing that sunny warmth in your life, and when your health is up and running, and your health is really improving now, you will have the strength to really commit to your studies that you're doing now. So that's a beautiful reading.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have some good news too.
You have some good news?
I do, yeah. And I thought of you when I heard it, although I'm nervous because I don't have it fully in my hands yet. But I was nervous about the money for the course, I think I mentioned. And then I saw later on there was a scholarship, and I applied, and then I found out on Friday that I got it for the course. So they're going to refund me the money that I paid, which is on a credit card. That was scary that I did this credit card, but now I'm free of that. Isn't that amazing? But I don't want to, it's not in my bank account just yet, so I'm a little nervous. What if they change their mind or something happens? But it's crazy. Not crazy, but it's, I was in awe. I think I just was in shock, but almost with a tear of gratitude in my eye when I read it, you know. And,
that's exactly the channel that they gave. It can come in the most convoluted, and I'm just getting shivers, extraordinary ways, and how much have we always limited ourselves. They want me to pull, I don't usually do this, I have the Magical Mermaids and Dolphin cards by Doreen Virtue. They're absolutely glorious, and they want me to pull a card for you. So I'm shuffling these cards for you, and they want me, with only about 2 minutes left, they want me to pull a card just from this deck. And this card, this card says, waves of prosperity, new abundance and exciting opportunities wash over you now. And there's a mermaid with a conch shell, and how about that? So what an amazing confirmation, and so wonderful that you took a step forward to passionately and enthusiastically love what you're doing for this naturopathic course. You said, okay, I'm going to put this on my credit card, and then you applied for the scholarship, and then abracadabra, the universe gave back to you. It's just wonderful.
Yeah,
And
it was.
and Stephanie, the Posse of Angels are saying, if it didn't come through the scholarship, it would have come back to you in a different way.
Mhm. Okay. Because I was going to say, like, part of me has been upset that I didn't take this course sooner. But then I saw that the scholarship just started last year. So then I was like, oh, well, maybe it's not so bad. It was divine timing after all.
It was divine timing. You would never have been able to get that scholarship. So I'm sending you so much love. I've only got a minute left.
Thank
so
you.
Have a beautiful day.
Thanks for the
Take
Posse.
care.
Okay,
Bye.
You too. Bye.
And that just about wraps our show up for today. Thank you to my callers, my listeners for tuning into the program. Please don't forget that Angel Healing House Radio airs every week on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Transformation Talk Radio. If you'd like to receive those uplifting newsletters, please send me a request to Candy, C-A-N-D-Y, at angelhealinghouse.com. And please go to angelhealinghouse.com to have a read about my wonderful books, Angels of Faith, One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, and I Am an Angelic Walk-In, my autobiography. And until next time, everyone, please do allow your radiant light to shine forth and to go out and fashion an absolutely beautiful life for yourself. Take care, love, and as always, angel blessings, and I'll speak with you again next week. Bye.